Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Definitely, it's been a shift in policy, and some orders, directives were issued, and the directives that were issued, I think they were about providing information on Ukrainian losses. It's been more than a year since the Russians crossed the border into Ukraine, and we haven't really been told by the free mass media, the good mass media, how many losses, how many victims have been in Ukraine. And I'm not talking about civilians. I'm talking about military personnel. And it was 2 days ago I covered one article, and it was about a commander of a battalion, Ukrainian battalion, who stated, I mean, not this article, but this article stated that that particular commander was demoted and then he quit from, just, this is my resignation, because he was taken from the active duty into training duty, which was training soldiers behind whatever, and he didn't like that a bit. Why was he demoted? The reason was he spoke with the Washington Post, one of the free mass medias, and he said that there were about 100,000 Ukrainian losses, and the elite experience army of Ukraine is gone, and they have only unprepared people, untrained, and they don't have enough support from the West militarily, and they don't have personnel to fight. Well, he supposedly was not supposed to say that, which I really believe that he wasn't. And I'm pretty sure there were strict orders against divulging any kind of this kind of information, but I don't know who that person was behind the scenes. So anyway, he was demoted, he submitted his resignation, he's out. And now we have the Jerusalem Post, tralala, coming from the capital of Israel, right? You like that? You like that? Not Tel Aviv now, Jerusalem. I hope YouTube will forgive all my sins. And they were going to tell us, mentioning an article, and they will tell us how many Ukrainian victims, how many people died over there so far. But this information does not come from the Ukrainian commander. This comes from someone else, from the Americans, actually. So this article comes from the Jerusalem Post, as I said, and it is from today, March 17th, 2023. And this is the title: 100,000 Ukrainian soldiers killed in Russian invasion report. Now, 100,000, hey, what's up, Puma? 100,000 Ukrainian soldiers killed, not killed or, wounded or anything like that. No, killed. So how many were wounded? Let's see. Russia and Ukraine both suffered severe casualties in the year of fighting, with the fiercest battle currently raging over Bakhmut in Donetsk. Oh my God, is Puma going to sue this guy? I mean, he's having a Puma hat. That's not right. You know what I mean? In the capitalist system, you look at each and everything. You have a condom with a Nike on it, and anyway, let's move on. Around 100,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed in the year-long battle against Russia's invasion. Politico reported, citing unnamed U.S. officials. You would not have seen this in the Western mass media, the free mass media, the one that we as free people live, so much BS. This comes amid a grueling struggle since February 24th, 2022, with a constantly shifting front line throughout Ukraine's eastern oblasts of Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporozhye, Kherson, Kharkiv, and Mykolaiv. This also includes Russian missile and artillery strikes on other areas of the country, including the central oblasts of Kiev, Chernihiv, Dnipro, and Odessa, even as far as Lviv. Is this Poland's Lviv? That was a low blow. Now, for its part, Russia has also reportedly suffered heavy casualties in the war. Now, let's just be a little bit, I don't want to be like Obama. Oh, let me be clear here. Shut up. We knew how many Russian casualties were from the beginning of the war. Before the war started, we knew the casualties. Let's put it this way. Before the Russians even thought about invading, we already knew, the mass media in the West knew the Russian casualties. No, but it's so strange that, it's very strange that the Ukrainians always had an approximation, and how many troops, how many tanks, how many Russian, blah, blah, blah. But somehow, and that was wildly reported in the Western mass media every day. I made so many videos on that I was like, oh my God, these weasels. That is just they give us every day the same information. Anyway, they gave us this information. It was available in the free mass media. But about Ukraine losses, zippo, nothing. How is that possible? Well, that tells you how free the mass media is. The mass media is, if it's free, reports the news, reports facts. That's mass media. News informs you of things, and they shape your opinion if they invite weasels to shape your opinion. So let's see how many Russians are dead here, because they didn't have them to the zeros right here. According to recent information from the Ukrainian military, Russia has so far lost 163,320 soldiers. They know everything. Look at this right here. 305 aircraft, 290 helicopters, 2,145 drones. Really, 3,506 tanks. Hoppa, a happy guy. Who that was that dude? Little wolf. Anyway, this is, see here you have, according to the BBC, between 20,000 and 30,000 Russian soldiers have been either killed or wounded in and around Bakhmut. Now, to say between 20,000 and 30,000, that's a very, very wild guess, to say the least. If you would say between 20 and 21, yeah, well, between 20 and 30, Jesus Christ. So these guys had this information, but we didn't have this one. Now they need obviously shells, but just to make sure that we got it, it was only one time when, if you remember, Ursula von der Leyen, that person from Brussels, who used to be Germany's defense minister, because they have defense ministress, yes. She said, without the approval, that hey, in an interview, she stated that there are about 100,000 Ukrainian losses by that time. It was, 2-3 months ago, I can't remember, something like that. Within an hour, the guys from Ukraine called Brussels and told them, what up are you talking about? Those guys retracted that, Brussels, cut that, redacted it, and then redacted, they edited, because you couldn't see it at all. It was not like they put something, redacted it over it. So they edited it, took it out, cut it off, boom, out. And then they said, no, what she said was like, you didn't hear it right, or something, gaslighting. So what's going on here? You know what's going on. Ukraine is just a battlefield. The armies are behind, and behind from Ukraine front line to the Pacific Ocean. You cross the Atlantic and then you go to Pacific. That's how it is. And you go, if you want to continue to others, you can go to Australia, you can go to South Korea now, that gives all kind of things. Japan is also involved, for good reasons, because if they're not, the masters are gonna flick them. So anyway, we have here 100,000 by Americans. That's interesting. They reported it. They didn't say it was that guy, the Ukrainian commander. So, thank you very much. Something switched, that's for sure. Thank you very much. And it's not like thank you very much. It's not that they didn't have these numbers. They had them. It's just that something is just, it's not the mass media is doing its job now. They're allowed to do this. Look in the Vietnam War. There were certain news that the mass media had, but they asked the Pentagon and they asked the White House should release it, and said no, wait 24 hours. I know a specific example, and you can find many of them regarding Vietnam War. You know, the bombardment of Laos and Cambodia. Remember that one? No, we have anything to do with Cambodia. Bombing Laos and Cambodia, you gotta smoke something. What the hell? And they were. No, we have only, military advisors over there, and the military advisors were right there in the jungle, run through the jungle, like that song, CCR. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.